Yes, perfect.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Susana Seabra. I'm here with
Miguel Camide. Hello, everybody.
Well, as Christine already told you, we are both consultants on SPI, and we are here because SPI was part of the Trafun project, and we will start by doing a small introduction to Trafun project, and then a small introduction about SPI. These are the contents that we are going to speak about. And then maybe just see how can we connect traditional food and new product development, then speak about determinants of success of a new product and the main stages of new product development. Then we will concentrate on the survey of market needs and requirements. And finally, we'll have here some case studies. They are mainly Portuguese companies that we know very well during our work and that we could know in person. And we think they are good examples of these determinants that we are going to talk about. So, starting by the Trafun project, it has already finished on October 2016, and it had a consortium of 29 partners, and it's a project about traditional food network to improve the transfer of knowledge for innovation. So this is about traditional food, and we keep saying that we are a sister project of the FooD-STA, and we know that this type of partnerships must be enhanced in Europe. So we are going to talk about our experience also in the Trafun project. We had 4 main categories of products: grain, vegetables and mushrooms, sweets, fruits and olives, and fish. So the aim of Trafun is to create a network of research institutions, technology transfer agencies, and SMEs, associations, and it's centered on knowledge transfer. As you see in this graphic below, the important here, like in FooD-STA project, is to get more closed and to lay down some barriers between the research and development institutes, the association and transfer agencies, and the SMEs. It is mainly focused on SMEs that work with traditional food. These are this is the distribution or the map of the distribution of the several partners: 9 universities, 9 research institutions, 5 technology transfer agencies, 5 SMEs associations, and 1 European Food Industry Association. These are the several partners here, the different countries. You can see that we have 14 European countries. And one of the main outputs of this project was this book, a consumer-oriented book containing information about traditional dishes from all Trafun food categories. The book includes short stories, descriptions, and recipes, and it was really well received among possible consumers, and a good way of advertising the traditional food products. Another important output was the Trafun information shop. You can get there by the website that you have here. and there you can get different types of information about experts, organizations, primary production, processing, and so on, depending on your specific interest. Okay, although Trafun has ended already as a project, but we truly believe that it was just a start, considering all the knowledge that was generated and that can be transferred for new projects and for the activities as the European FooD-STA or ISEKI-Food Association. The FooD-STA project was already explained by Christine, and then we have ISEKI and other associations that can use this knowledge for their activities, and, well, other new projects that will certainly come up and that can use this knowledge. About SPI, just a short presentation. We have this geographical distribution internationally, different offices in Europe, Asia, and America. And we provide projects and we have strong activities also in South America and in Africa. Our main pillars, let's say, of our activity are innovation, science and technology, and territory. Well, we work with different types of entities at national and international level, and innovation is mainly with the companies. Then we have the technology transfer. We enhance the technology transfer from science and technology entities to companies and also to other entities more related to territory management. And now we are going to start with our main presentation. And to start, we would like to put the first question that was put to us when we tried to talk about new product development in Trafun project. Is new product development and traditional food compatible? Well, we would like to clarify that we want to use the new product development tools to enhance the complete offer that a company may provide. Not only to focus on the product or the formulation of the product, but on the complete offer. And for that, we must understand the clients and the consumer needs. And this is how we consider that new product development tools can be very useful. We must understand when and how will the consumer use my product. We must make this question every time. And also think in the service I provide to my direct client, which may be a distributor, not the final consumer, and also the service I can provide to the final consumer. And this all together is part of our product. That's why we believe that new product development and traditional food are surely compatible. And the main reason we believe in that is because the determinants of success of a new product are the determinants we can use in our complete offer. And then I would start by talking about these determinants that we should always think about when we have a certain offer to give to the market. And the first determinant we would like to stress is the ideas, to generate good and origin ideas. This is sometimes the most difficult part, but we must think that we have different sources where we can get good ideas. And these are the suggestions, complaints of our clients and workers, identification of new needs. Well, see what are the trends, what the opinion leaders say about the trends of our market, Sometimes, if it's an existing company, we can think about spin-outs of our production. We can identify new technologies, process design, or packaging, or way of offering our product. We can think about new opportunities and business models, and we can use creativity tools. This is something that we certainly use in our projects. After collecting the needs and the desires of our clients, we usually make some creativity sessions to try to come up with really new and good ideas. Well, in your companies, you can use some initiatives like idea generation campaigns. We would avoid the use of simple box for ideas, but generation campaigns usually work very well, like brainstorming with programmed pauses, periodical meetings, idea contests, and with a certain periods to be held, okay, and a defined period. Then you can use communication to give the results of that campaigns, and you can use other participants other than your collaborators in your company. You can ask for ideas from your suppliers, from your clients, and so on. And then you must promote an honest feedback from your customer and keep asking where you can be better, where you can, how can you improve your offer, your complete offer, including your service. So another determinant is to focus on client needs. This is once more something that we use when we want to develop a new complex technological product, but is also true if you are talking about traditional food products. You must center all development on consumers' needs and expectations. You must minimize the subjective and involuntary distorted views that the team members usually bring to the project. Well, we must avoid this, and it is very important that we, the perception we have about what can be successful in the market could be completely wrong, and we must have this clear idea. What I think is good for the market, sometimes it is not. So it's important that in the third point, we can make a translation from consumers' requirements to the product specifications, being very faithful to what was told by the consumers. So we have different steps in translating the consumer's needs into process specifications that we must fulfill and be very rigorous on that. Because, and I don't know if you already know this scheme here, but some misunderstandings are very usual to happen during the process of product development. Sometimes what the customer has explained, it was not what the project leader understood, and it was not what the analyst designed, and how the programmer built, and of course how the business consultant described it, and how the project was documented. Very important, this point. Then the features, sorry, what the customer paid, how it was maintained, and what the customer really wanted. These are all misunderstandings that can be completely sorry, fighting with these new tools that we are going to talk about. Okay? Then another determinant of success is the team and the partnership that we can put together. The team leader, we have a core team that it's inside of our company that includes production, design, marketing, and the team leader. And then we must have the enlarged team. Well, include also internal elements like the legal department, workers, sales, but also from the outside of the company, like clients, suppliers, R&D entities, and so on. Another determinant is the process management. We must have a good planning of our work. The project description, the team, the resources, the milestones, so that we know when we expect to have results about this new product or new service that we are going to offer. The documentation of the process is also very important. As you see in that first comic draw that we showed before, if the documentation does not exist, we are not able to make decisions on proper time. And sometimes we just give up with a certain project, and then no documentation was made about that, and nobody knew after that why it didn't go on, what went wrong, what went right. So that's something very important for us, not to be very bureaucratic, but to have a documentation, a good documentation of our work. One good tool to have this documentation is the quality function deployment. This is the metrics, the final aspect of this metrics. And here you have a relations at the center. You have a relationship metrics when you can see how you respond to customers' requirements through some technical measures that you have on your final product. And here you can see how your offer responds to that requirements. And then you have several other aspects, and at the end you have here summarized all the aspects related to your product. Another determinant is the risk management. We know that when we try to put a new product or a new concept, let's say, in the market, some problems can arise, and sometimes it is not successful. And we know that there are several causes that are in the origin of that unsuccess, but we know that this risk can be managed and can be reduced. And we use here some recommendations, and especially when we talk about the case studies we have, we discovered some interesting ways of companies to reduce those risks. Talking about tools that we use in our projects, here we give this highlight the failure mode and effect analysis. is something that we cannot explain in a detailed way here, but it's something that if you already heard or can research on this, is an important tool to calculate and see where is the major part of my risk. Then you must, in a permanent way, make a cost evaluation and evaluate the feasibility of your product and your project. That's meaning that sometimes we are not going in the right way, and sometimes we must abort our project, and as soon as we take this decision, the better or the less money we spend with this project. So it's very important to keep this evaluation, because we can at the end reach a very, very special and perfect product, but it's too expensive for us to develop it and to put in the market, and the final price is not the adequate one. So we must make this evaluation permanently and try to see if we are taking the good way. Then we have the project planning and incentives to new product development and research and development activity that could be made in pluri-annual planning, so that we can look forward and see what we are going to do next. Or if this project does not go well, I know what I plan to do after it, okay? As I told you before, in our case studies, we found out some strategies that we find interesting and that can effectively reduce this risk. And we see that some companies, for instance, make several parallel project launch and go very quickly to prototyping and to test the product in the market or in the small panel, so that they can dilute the risk of some products do not work well. They make a quick transition between projects, and sometimes of companies, especially from traditional food products, this has been the key of success. Others choose to make a risk sharing through the establishment of partnerships with other companies, and we will see a good example of that later on. The others try to incorporate knowledge to increase barriers of entry to other companies, and that's also made by some partnerships with R&D institutes or universities. And this was the chapter about the determinants of success of a new product. Now, in just one slide, I will present to you the stages of a new product development. We have these phases, 4 phases, and a 0 phase that's about the identification and selection of opportunities. And this phase and phase 1 are those that we think they are common for every type of product or service or offer that we are going to try to get to the market. In this phase 0, we have the identification and selection of opportunities, and we have those some sources of these opportunities. We can see the service of evaluation from customer and employees, market trends, studies and analysis, some sector and statistics analysis of our sector, and look for our companies, for our company and for our market. Then we have here some tools that we can use to select from different types of opportunities, because in the first step you just put several opportunities and then you must select some of them, and then you get to those that you really want to address. And you must think at first point, who is your partner, is your client, and what is the opportunity that you see in marketing that you want to answer and to address. Then we have identification of latent consumer or customer needs. And then here it's important that we find out something. That's why we call it latent, because we want to find out something that the clients or the final consumers were not able to express already. So maybe they did not put that on a paper. If you ask for a suggestion, they did not make any remark on your product, but maybe you can be able to surprise the client. And that's why this phase is so important. You must gather raw data from your customers through very profound interviews. You must elect customer needs. You must interpret raw data in terms of customers' needs and requirements. And then you must be faithful to that requirements until the end of your product development or service or final offer, as I told you before. So how are we able to survey these market needs or requirements? First of all, you should identify the groups of people you want to interview. And these groups are at least these that I put here: direct customers, that may be distributors, maybe the end users or the really consumers of your product. And then you have different categories: current customers, potential and former clients, satisfied or unsatisfied customers, and different positions regarding the market trends. It can be an opinion leader, or it can be someone that just decides to buy a certain product after it is being well spread in the market. Then you have also a great group to interview, and are the opinion makers or stakeholders, meaning people that are connected to the sector and whose opinions generally influence other consumers. When you make the interviews to these different types of customers, you must visit 3 main areas and try to position your interview in the past, the things that he had already done, and then you ask questions like, which are the problems that you have experienced during the use of this product, this type of product, or in the situation that you think your client would use your product. Then you make him or her go to the present time, and then you ask, what do you think when you choose a certain product? And then you can transport him to the future, and then let him think about the ideal product, which new features you would like to have, how you would like to use it, and so on. And in this future, you can transport him to a different dimension, if you wish, and then just ask for images and what he imagines when he is using a certain product, and what would be in a different world, maybe how he or she would be using that product. And in these interviews, it's very important that it's totally an individual view that you are getting. You guarantee that there is a total freedom of expression of wishes, and you cannot at any time influence the interviewer, okay? Namely, with your own perspective about that product. Don't even give suggestions, because in that way you are influencing your interviewer. And you should always remember that your own ideas are not the ideas of the market. Then, when you have the customer needs that you extract from the interviews, you must travel from the voice of the customer to a client requirement. You use the image that you collected, the different images that you collected during the interviews, and you cross them with the different voices that you could also gather in the interview. And then you can get to a group of client requirements. And this is an example. You collect voices and you should translate exactly what the client said during the interview. If he says that I want to learn something, and the images he used is education, then you must find here some key point and then try to get to a requirement. And the requirement is also written in an infinitive way, and you say that having information, the list of requirements we have here, being age appropriate, having groups, pre-knowledge, having cultural content. These are the type of... Yes?
Susana, sorry to interrupt you. I have several notifications from students that they cannot see the slides.
No?
I have seen it until now, but I have also no connection now to see your slides.
But it's recent? It was now?
It was at 15:20, but I thought I could solve this by myself. So we have now 20 minutes when the first one told me he couldn't see the slides. I try to get back the screen and give it to you again.
Okay.
So this is my screen, and I now give it back to you.
We cannot
Do you have
see
the notification?
No, you cannot see anything, just blue.
Now it's only
yes,
blue.
yes.
This was my screen,
Okay,
but now you
right
should be
now.
able to show your screen. I have a green sign, so it tells me that your screen can be seen.
Yeah.
So I was not aware of the problem. Now I see the screen of your presentation.
Okay.
And the others? And it's all okay?
Yes, maybe I can get feedback from the students.
Okay.
I'm just waiting. Maybe they are writing in the text field. So please, okay, I have okay. Now it seems to work. I'm sorry. Yes, now they can see it.
I don't know what happened.
Me neither. I had a green sign. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have several okays. Please go on. Sorry for the interruption.
And at what slide did you stop?
Which was the last slide they saw?
You saw this one?
I asked for feedback to students. Which one was the last slide you could see? Is this the present one? Slide 1 and nothing after that, now tells me one of the students.
Okay, so that should be the next one. Okay?
Okay.
So, I'll go back just a little bit.
Thank you, Susana, for this troubleshooting.
No problem. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so I was talking about gathered raw data from customers and how you can get from voice of customer to client requirement. And you can use the images that you collected during the interview and to try to get to a key point and then to a client requirement. And this was the list I was showing about the requirements. They all must be in an infinitive verbal way, having information, in the last column you have, having information, being age appropriate, and so on. So these are the requirements, some examples of requirements you can have for your product or offer. Keep in mind that with 10 interviews, you can reach about 80% or more than 80% of the overall set of requirements expressed. If you use this way of proceeding the interview, conduct the interview, and let the person really go inside this universe you want him to be, you can get really surprising results and new requirements from the first interviews. And then they start repeating some requirements, and then you see that if you are really faithful to the tools that we just gave you to how conduct the interviews, you can get there. Now, after you have the requirements, you should ask another group and a larger group of possible clients. You should ask them to evaluate the importance of each requirement. And this is some example you have here. You should rank the requirements by the importance the clients give to that requirement, okay? And this should be with a large number of inquiries. Then you must classify the requirements, okay? And how do you do that? You must make another questionnaire where you ask if the product has this certain requirement, how would you feel? And then you ask the opposite question. If the product don't have that specific feature or requirement, how would you feel? And then with the answers, you can classify the requirements in these different classes. If it is mandatory, one-dimensional, attractive, indifferent, or questionable. And this is the way how you use the answers of the previous questions I just told you, okay? And then you see what are the mandatory, the attractive, and the one-dimensional. And you should obey to the mandatory requirements. If you see on this graphic, the mandatory are those that if are present, the satisfaction of the client is not so big, but if it is not present, the dissatisfaction is big. So you should guarantee that they are in your product. Then you have one-dimensional, is like the price. The more present they are, the more satisfied is the client. And then you should always find out some attractive requirement. That is the requirement that if it's not there, the client is not unsatisfied. But if it is there, the satisfaction is very high, okay? And this is the type of requirements that you can use to satisfy and to give a surprise to your client. Okay? So these were the contents we made until now. We tried to give you a rough idea of the main aspects to be to take in account to develop or to give a new offer and to be successful in the market. And now we are going to start to talk about some case studies we have that we think are good examples for this traditional food new product development, let's say. And Miguel, maybe we'll start. These are examples that we know very well, as I already told you. They are mainly Portuguese, but they are all in the international market because they knew how to pick up in the traditional flavors and traditional food from Portuguese different regions and offer it in a very different way, and they were very successful with it. Okay, so the first example we have, Miguel.
Yeah. The first example is about good product ideas. Is the case of Meia Dúzia. Is a Portuguese brand that produces jams and biscuits with the traditional Portuguese flavor, and these jams are presented in an innovative packaging, one tube, like a toothpaste, yeah. Right? It's a different way, more practice and more easy to use, and different to present from the customer, and more gourmet, and without with different view on the supermarket or another space. This inspiration for the creation of the tubes came from the promoters' interest on the painting. One universe completely different from this sector and the traditional food, and this creative process was essential to develop this kind of product. This product also have a combination of national products and different flavors, like wines, chili, with different fruits and different shapes of packaging. It's a interesting case that you can see more information on the website of this company. It's a small company in the north of Portugal. Okay. The second one is the Frutaformas. It's a company we identify very interested process on the focus on client needs. This company is dedicated to dehydrated fruit through a natural process. These products are with the fruits with certification of origin, and could be found with different shapes like slice, lingots, hearts, and two varieties like gourmet and healthy.
Just to say that they told us that they were thinking about the people when they started this company, people that want to take a piece of fruit on their bag to go to work. So they decided to do these lingots, what was their first product, and it was really a success because you can take a piece of fruit in a small, very small bar, and it's just fruit, nothing else. Okay.
Yeah, this is the key of this product is just fruit, and very good for children also, and you can see example of on the left side the can with the pieces of fruit to children. This important focus on client needs because the product we don't have artificial additives, is very nutritional, balanced, and fit to be consumed safely by all consumer groups. Children, celiacs, the diabetics, and so on. This is a kind of product, healthy and attractive alternative to sugary snacks, artisanal production without additives or preservatives, no added sugar or oils, and is a certified fruit with designation of origin. The next one is the company Nono Sentido. Is an interesting case about the determinant team or partners or partnerships. Nono Sentido markets novel Portuguese products, boosting their value and redirecting them to the international market. This company have traditional products like olive oil and other products more innovative like chocolate truffles with extra virgin olive oil and gold. This company is committed to developing distinctive products in partnership with universities and scientific institutions. That's it, the main point. This partnership with other entities with knowledge in different matters to achieve new products with more value, using olive oil and algae of the Atlantic coast.
That's why we select this, because they are a good example on the team and on the way they establish the partnerships, right?
Okay. The next one, it's about the determinant of process management. Is the company Terrius. It's a small company that in agro-food sector that based in local partnerships of trust and fair trade with small producers and industry in the region of Mervão. This company commercializes dehydrated, mild, canned, processed and fresh fruits using products, sorry, products also, but another kind of products like different types of nuts, mushrooms, etc. Using local raw materials also. The product development is based on successive experimentation. Like Susana said, this case is one success case on the experimentation and evolution of the product. The feedback collected from the customers and other partners are used to develop right product and
reduce the risk, right?
and reduce this risk, because they start with small experience, small quantities, and start trying tasting the product with the partners and growing the product. It's important also the service innovation that this company works. the relation with these companies, with the gastronomic touristic, on the na construção de itinerários.
They build the itineraries
with the experience of food tasting, and this kind of initiative promote more connection, more emotional connection to the products in this region. And the last one, about the risk management, we have the Alga Plus. This is a company devoted to research and production of seaweed and seaweed-based products. After market research, found ancient use of algae in Portuguese diet and came up with the idea of incorporation seaweed into typical Portuguese meals like codfish and sardines. Sorry.
This was an interesting company because they started with the researchers from the university, and then they tried to make some experience with the algae, and then they found out that really in the ancient people from Portugal, they used to be part of our diet, and then they are not anymore. So they tried to recover that tradition and to put in different types of diets.
Yes, and the strategy of this company includes a partnership with other companies to use Alga Plus algae to enrich their customary products. This way, it's possible to promote the Alga Plus brand and product, associating the quality assurance transmitted by the partner brand established on the market. This is an interesting way to achieve the client and reducing the risk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's it.
We go a little bit ahead, but now we finished.
It was not your fault. It was not. It was mine because I didn't realize the slides were not shown. I still don't know why. I had the green sign on my panel and still the slides were not seen. I'm very sorry. I only can apologize to all the attendees.
Oh.
Apologies. I hope for your understanding. Thank you very much. Still, we are now open for questions, and I would invite the students to do their questioning via the text field, just for reasons of practicality. It would be nice to have them written so I can post them quite clearly to the speakers. This is always much easier. So may I maybe ask something? Have you ever been involved in the ecotrophilia product innovation development? The ecotrophilia, where student teams are put together to develop product innovations which they can then present in a competition? Did you hear me, Susana, Miguel?
Yes, the question is for us.
Sorry, can you repeat? Sorry.
I asked if you ever were involved in the ecotrophilia competition. It's ecotrophilia. It's FIAP is also coordinating the tasks for this competition. Student teams are there made up, and they are working together for developing a product or a process, a product, and they then present this product in the course of a competition. It's a pitching event.
We are aware of several types of contests, and we have been a jury of some of them also, but not that specific one, no.
Okay. So I have still no questions from the audience. So I take the liberty to now transmit my screen. Oh, and it is blue.
Yes.
Well, that's then a problem on my side because I was not aware I couldn't transmit my screen. Okay. So I may say thank you to all the audience we had this afternoon. I apologize again for the technical defects you had to see here, and I hope you had nonetheless heard very much about traditional food and innovation in this field from Susana and Miguel. I thank the speakers very much today for their lecture, and I hope you come back to us on the EU FooD-STA homepage. We will put the recording and the presentations of today available on our homepage and our website, and you are welcome to get back there for the recording and the files. Oh, thank you very much, Petre Savescu. We got the congratulations. I may forward it to the speakers. Congratulations for the project and webinar. Very interesting. Thank you very much. So thank you. Compliment from Miguel and Susana.
Okay. Thank you very much from our side, and
Thank
see
you.
you soon.
See you next
Anything
time.
you need from us, just contact. Okay.
Yes,
thank you.
I hope so. We stay in contact. Good afternoon to everybody. Goodbye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
No, no.